And it's about a love story that goes back 4,000 years. And it's about a father, 4 mothers, and 12 sons. They grew into 12 clans, and they became a great nation. And they grew into millions. And like most families, they fall out, and they came into a civil war against each other, clan against clan. And they decided that they were going to break tradition, and 10 of the clans decided they were going to live in the north of their land, and 2 of the clans in the south. And they both had their own kings, but the clan in the north, they were quite rebels. They were absolutely awful people, actually. They were wicked. And there was this other great nation that came against them and fought against them. And they lost that war, and they were taken into captivity away to another nation. And after about 400 or 500 years, that nation was suddenly mixed into other nations, and they became nobodies. They became just like everybody else. No homeland, nowhere to belong, no identity, just a nobody. And after 2,500 years, the only thing that remains of them is blood in human beings. That's all that remains. And one other thing, when they became migrants, it's ever so interesting we're getting migrants today, but they were in their millions. They travelled right across the west, north, east and south, trying to find a place to live. And they set up standing stones. Now, I looked on the internet and I found that in Anglesey, there are 20 standing stones. So they've been here. Somewhere along the line, they've been here. But what about the southern this southern group, these clans of the south? What became of those? Well, after a few hundred years, they also went into captivity for 70 years. And then they came back to their land, and after 700 years, they were taken away again. But they have an identity, and that identity is still here in the world today. They live differently, they dress differently, but we know who they are and what they are. But the 10 clans that disappeared off the face of the planet, it seems, has never ever returned. But the story goes like this. They were once called 2 nations. Then they were called 2 houses. And then they became 2 sticks. So that's what our album is called, The 2 Sticks. But what happened to this northern stick? Well, other writers have written about it. In fact, loads of people have written about it and have said, well, one day they're going to return to their homeland. So this dance I'm going to teach you is actually about that migration that's going to take place sometime in our future. So I'd like you all to come to the front and I'll teach you this dance.
The 2 sticks must come together, Ephraim and Yehuda, the 2 houses of Israel. Joseph in the hand of Ephraim, lost among the
Oh,